Hello world, it's Emmett again. I know this video is late, but that is because this is like the fourth time that I've tried to make it, and there's been a bunch of different issues with it, but whatever. It is still March 1st, which means this video still counts because I am not a day over 2 weeks on testosterone, and it is still a Wednesday. So, excuse me if I cough a lot. I'm getting over bronchitis, so yeah. I am actually in the parking lot of Planet Fitness getting ready to do my nightly workout. So, I'm going to answer the questions that some people sent me, my family members, or just that I get asked a lot. So yeah, let's get to it. Question number 1 is, how did you know you were trans? So, the response to that question is that it started a very long time ago, and I didn't know I was trans at first. I always, well, not always, the first time that I really realized that there was a difference between how I saw myself and how I felt about myself and how others saw and felt about me was different was, I think I was about 8, and I had been playing soccer and baseball at the time, and my soccer teams were either all girl teams or co-ed teams, and then my baseball is a primarily boy sport, so I was like the only girl on the team. And when my family moved from South Carolina back to Washington, I remember that I wanted to get back into playing baseball, and was told, not by my parents, I want to say I wasn't told by my parents this, I was told by other people that I couldn't play baseball because I was a girl, and baseball was for boys, so I had to play softball because softball was for girls. And that didn't sit right with me, and I was like, no, you're wrong, just about all of it, and I still think everybody who believes that way is wrong. But nonetheless, I did not play baseball. I have never played baseball again, and never played softball because I'm stubborn and bitter. So, that was kind of the first time I noticed anything was different, and at this point, I still didn't know I was trans because I just didn't have vocabulary for it. But I still, as I was growing up, I continued to be like a tomboy. I wore boys' clothes. I told people I wanted to be a boy when I grew up. Sometimes when I would go to like the park with my friends, I would tell people I was boy, and I would tell them a different name than my birth name. And people would believe me because I was like, 8, 9? Like, nobody could really tell, right? So nobody really thought anything of it. And that continued, the whole being a tomboy, dressing in boys' clothes things continued pretty much until this point in my life right now, still. But it got to be around 9th grade, where I lived was still in junior high. So 9th grade, when I started doing this thing called Color Guard. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up. It's really awesome. I'm part of a group called Rhapsody Winter Guard, and I love all of you. Thanks. But I started doing Color Guard, and 2 of my instructors at the time were gay. One was identified as gay, and one identified as a lesbian. And that was really kind of the first introduction I had to anything relatively queer at all. And one instructor in particular, Kyla, I really identified with a lot, I felt, and so much that, I said to myself, I was like, I am a lesbian. I know I am, So I came out as a lesbian in 10th grade, and, whatever, I lived with that label, for about 2 years, but it still didn't quite fit right with me. I didn't really feel like I was a lesbian. I felt there was still something different about me. I still wasn't comfortable in my body. I wasn't comfortable around other people, telling other people who I was. And at this point in my life, I was pretty much going by, my last name was pretty much going by Dorsey, like full time, and I just didn't want people to call me by my birth name. So, yeah, So when I was a senior in high school, I started looking things up on the internet, looking on Tumblr, looking on YouTube, and I think I came across an Aiden Dowling video in which he was talking about how he felt when he was younger, and he has all of the vocabulary and terminology now to be able to explain it to other people. So it's everything he said just hit me. Like, I identified with probably 99.9% of the things he was saying, and then I just knew that I was trans. I was a trans guy. And it wasn't something that I just decided. I didn't go, oh, he's trans, so I'm trans too. It was that I didn't know that being transgender was a thing. I didn't know that there was a word for it, or that other people felt how I've been feeling, until I heard him explain all of these things, and I realized that what he is saying is exactly what I've been feeling but haven't been able to explain. And then I came out my senior year of high school, and now we're here. So yeah, that was kind of a short story. So question number 2 is, what are the side effects of testosterone, and have you noticed any? So for the side effects of testosterone, I Googled them. I know quite a few of them off the top of my head, of course, just because I have done some research in the past couple of years, months, weeks, and all of that. But I did want to get a list just in case there were things that I haven't noticed, or see if there were things that I would be leaving out that I thought were important. And of course, this isn't like the entire list of side effects from testosterone, but this is a list of some of the more common ones. So there might be a time in the future when I'm going to be like, hey, I'm noticing this change, but it wasn't on this list now. So yeah, I'll read the list. I'll tell you if I drop my cue cards. I will read the list, and I will tell you if I have noticed any of these changes. So yeah, first side effect, redistribution of fat. I don't feel like I've really noticed much of a redistribution of fat. Per se, like, mostly, when I say that, I'm thinking about things more like my hips and more, mostly my hips, because I've got fairly large-ish hips. I have noticed a little bit of a thinning of my face, and some other people have noticed that and mentioned it to me as well. But I also have been working out quite a bit in the last 2 weeks, so I'm not sure if that is a side effect of the testosterone or a side effect of me trying to get healthier. So who knows? Menstrual cycle stops. So this one, I also do not know if it has happened. Unfortunately, I will find out relatively soon, so I'll keep you updated, I guess. Increased sweat. I can't talk. Increased sweat. So I don't feel like I have been sweatier than before I started testosterone at all. I was a very sweaty person before I started testosterone, and I still kind of am. So I'm just gross. Prominent veins. I don't feel like my veins are any more prominent than they were before testosterone. Acne. I have noticed, it's kind of hard to see in this light, I think, right along my jawline, especially my chin, I have been breaking out a little bit more than usual, but it's not that bad. So I have noticed a little bit of a breakout, but not too bad. Deepening of voice. I don't really feel like my speaking voice has gotten any deeper at all. I did notice the other day as I was singing in the car, that there were a couple of notes that are higher that used to be very comfortable for me to hit, that I was feeling uncomfortable trying to reach. And that could be due to the testosterone, that could be due to the fact that I've got bronchitis and I'm still recovering from that. So, yeah. Male pattern baldness. So I wouldn't say I'm going bald, of course. I have noticed right here, I don't even know what this part of my hairline is called, but it is kind of thinning out. And I noticed that the other day and I kind of freaked out about it. But the rest of my hair is still here, so I'm trying not to freak out about it too much. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't get too bad. Breast shrinking and or softening. And this one for me is, I try to not pay attention to my chest at all just because I hate it. So I don't really feel like I've noticed any difference, but I'm also not paying attention to it, so I don't know if I would notice a difference really. And then the last two are kind of TMI, so if you don't want to know, stop listening for like 30 seconds. That's probably for all of my family members. You probably don't want to know this. So yeah, here we go. Increased libido and enlargement of the downstairs area. Yes to both of those things. And now we're moving on. Cool. Question number 3. Has your sleep been affected by testosterone? I don't think my sleep has been affected by testosterone at all. I still have a really hard time falling asleep. So, no. Question 4. Has your hunger been affected by testosterone? The answer to this question is a yes and a no. The day I got my first injection, I was starving. I wanted to eat the entire day. I wanted to eat everything. Yeah. And then the day after, I wasn't hungry at all. I felt like I didn't need to eat for the entire day, which definitely is not normal for me. So that was kind of weird. But since then, my hunger's gotten back to normal, and it's not anything that I'm concerned about. Number 5, have you noticed any hair growth? So, the only hair growth that I have noticed pretty much anywhere has been on my face. I noticed the other day that the peach fuzz kind of like in my what is this called? This is sideburn. My sideburn area, the peach fuzz, was getting long enough that I could like pinch it, which really isn't normal for me. So, I think that was like a hair growth thing. So I shaved my face just so that any sort of facial hair growth that happens, I can see a little bit more, I can feel a little bit more. My face actually feels kind of, and like in my sideburn area, again, feels kind of scruffy, which is weird. I don't know if you can hear it. Maybe, who knows. But so I think I've noticed a little bit of hair growth, but not too much. And then number 6. What do you look forward to the most in your transition? The thing that I'm looking forward to the most in my transition is definitely top surgery, getting my chest removed. I bind. For those of you that don't know what binding is, it's pretty much using a binder or any sort of like compression chest or pretty much anything. Compression shirt or anything to compress a female chest to give it a more male look. So I do bind, and I have been binding pretty much every day for pretty much the entire day, from when I wake up to when I go to bed, which is not healthy. You're not supposed to wear a binder for more than 8 hours. I know this, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but I've been binding since I was a senior in high school, so it's been, 3 years I've been binding, and because it is a compression shirt, it restricts how much your lungs can expand, and it compresses on your ribs, so it can get to be very painful. So I am just looking forward to the day when I can take them off. I never have to wear them again, and I can breathe, and I can be free, and all of that, and it's just going to be great. And along with that comes me just wanting to be comfortable in my body. That's what I'm looking forward to, is just being comfortable with myself, knowing that I put the effort in to make my body look how I know it should in my head and my soul. So yeah. Number 7, is there anything you'll miss after you transition? So this isn't really something that I think I'll miss per se, but more something that I'm not really looking forward to. And that is the fact that later on in my transition, and this is probably quite a ways out, but still out there, I am going to be perceived by society as a cis white male. And being perceived as a cis white male in American society isn't necessarily a good thing. just because in American society, cis white men do have a lot of privilege and are oftentimes looked down on because of the fact that they are awarded those privileges. So I know that there's going to be a time in my life where I'm going to be walking around and people are going to be silently judging me. Which happens now, but it's going to be for a completely different reason. People are going to assume that I haven't really had any struggles in my life. I haven't had any roadblocks, anything like that. And I have had it pretty easy in my life. Even in my transition, I've had it pretty easy. I've got a really supportive family and all of that, so I haven't really had it that hard. But there have been things in my life that have been hard. I have struggled with certain things that have shaped me into the person I am and the person I'm becoming, and I know that those are things that in the future people aren't going to see or they're not going to know about me just because of how I'm going to be perceived as a cis white male. So that's not necessarily something that I'm looking forward to, but whatever. Number 8, do you have to take hormones forever? So, I don't have to take hormones forever. There have been cases in the media that lots of you probably know about when trans men stop taking hormones so they are able to biologically conceive a child. That is not something that I want to do in my life at all. So I plan on taking testosterone forever unless there is some medical advancement that makes it so I don't have to. Who knows in the future? All you future doctors out there figuring that out. So for me, yes, but not every trans man has to take hormones forever or wants to. Number 9, what is the hardest part of transitioning? Probably the hardest part about transitioning has got to be the fact that I know who I am and I'm fairly comfortable in myself, in my identity, but the world doesn't see me how I see myself, so I still do walk around in my everyday life being perceived as a female, and not that being a female is a bad thing, it's just not who I am, and I get misgendered a lot, especially at work, and it just kind of takes a toll on you to just constantly be reminded of this thing that is just in your mind awful. I don't know how to explain that. Just more so the fact that I know that I'm a man, and everybody pretty much that knows me knows that I am, and they use my pronouns, but strangers don't, so they'll just go on calling me she, her, using female pronouns, saying ma'am, things like that, and it just kind of takes a mental toll on me. Yeah. Number 10. What are you most dysphoric about? So, there are 3 things that I'm pretty dysphoric about. The thing that I'm most dysphoric about is definitely my chest. I hate it. If I could just cut it off, be good, be fine, it'd be great. But I can't, so I won't because it's bad. My mom told me I'm not allowed to. And then the second thing is my voice. My voice is pretty high-pitched. And I think that it is something that leads to me being misgendered a lot. Sometimes I'll be out, like, just at a store, and people will see me, and they'll be like, oh, can I help you, sir? And then, like, I'll say something, and immediately, like, the second I make a sound, they will incorrectly correct themselves and be like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. So, I think my voice gets me misgendered a lot, so I'm really dysphoric about that. And then the third thing is my height. I am 5'3" and a half matters, but that is also fairly short compared to most cis men. So that's something that just kind of makes me feel like I stand out in a crowd of other guys. Question 11, what surgeries do you want in the future? So, the only 2 surgeries that I'm really thinking about right now are top surgery and then a full hysterectomy. I'm not sure if a hysterectomy is technically the right word for what I want, but I want a full removal of all of my female reproductive organs. I'm not using them. I don't need them. Take them, please. So yeah, those are the only two that I want. At this time, bottom surgery isn't something that I feel like I need or that I want. Maybe in the future there will be some medical advancements and the negative things about bottom surgery won't seem so negative to me, but we'll see when we get there. Number 12, what bathroom do you feel most comfortable in? This is a really good question, and I kind of have like a sort of complex answer. Really the answer is that I don't really feel comfortable in any public bathroom. It's something, especially with the whole talk about what bathroom transgender people should be in, being a national conversation. It's kind of always in the back of my mind when I'm out in public that other people are going to be looking at me and thinking, does this person belong in this bathroom? So, if I have the option in public, if there is a family bathroom or a unisex bathroom, I will 100% go to that bathroom first. Just for my comfort. If I don't have that option, I will go to the men's bathroom because I am a man, and that is where I should go to the bathroom. And it's not really a big deal for me because I go in, I do what I need to do, I wash my hands, I leave, and that's it. I'm not standing in the middle of the bathroom like having a seance. That was the first thing that came to my head, which is probably weird, but yeah, I'm just going in and leaving. There have been a few times since I have come out, and I've come out as trans, that I have used the women's bathroom, and those times have been when I've been in a place where I didn't feel physically safe enough to go into a men's bathroom. So if that's the case, if I'm in a place where I don't feel like I'm safe and that I could be physically harmed if I go into a men's bathroom, then I will go into a women's bathroom, just safety. So yeah. Number 13, also a really great question. What can allies of the LGBTQ+ community do to help you or others in their transition? So, probably one of the biggest things is, first of all, to know that whether a person is bisexual, they're gay, lesbian, trans, straight, anything, however anybody identifies, their experiences in life aren't going to be exactly the same. So, and everybody has different feelings about things. For example, I don't want my coworkers, I don't at work, I don't correct people on my pronouns, and I don't want my coworkers to do it. The few times that it has happened at work has kind of made the situation more awkward, more uncomfortable than it needs to be, so I just try to avoid that whole thing in general. But I know other people that do want their coworkers to correct people on their pronouns, and that they do correct customers on their pronouns. That is completely their choice and up to them and just what they're comfortable with, but it's just an example of how, like, although we might both be trans people, we don't both have the same feelings on our pronouns being corrected. And then the other thing that I have to say about what allies can do is just, you don't get to pick and choose when you want to be an ally. I think that's the thing that I notice most, is that people think that just saying, I support the LGBTQ+ community, makes them an ally. And while we do appreciate your support, yes, thank you, you have to go further than that. It's like if you hear somebody making a transphobic or homophobic, a biphobic joke, just as an example, there are a lot of other things that are wrong, laughing at that joke, standing by and just letting that person say that is condoning that behavior. So that's something you can do. You gotta step up, say something. It goes for pretty much any group of people. If you see somebody being bullied, like you hear somebody make a racist comment, somebody's being belligerent, like, those are all times when you should just step in and be a good person. but you can't pick and choose when you get to do those things. That's my opinion on that. Question 14, do you have any advice on how or when to come out? So, this is probably the question where I have to say the most that this is all my opinion. I don't want anybody to think that the way I think you should come out or when you should come out or anything like that is how you need to. It's completely up to you. And that's exactly what I think. I think that when and how you come out is completely up to you. No matter what you are coming out as, however it is that you identify, when you are telling somebody, that's a very personal thing. So whether you need to make a YouTube video, write a note, tell somebody in a phone call, tell them face to face, have a sit down conversation, whatever is most comfortable for you in that situation is 100% what you should do. And the second thing, which is kind of more of like a downer, is that unfortunately not everybody has 100% support in their life in any sort of thing that they're going through, whether you're gay, you're lesbian, bisexual, any of that. Your life at school, work, and home can be affected by you coming out, and although I think it is a really unfortunate thing and I don't want anybody to have to go through that, it is a reality that some people are going to go through that. So in my mind, if you are going to come out, if you have it set you are going to come out, just have a plan in case you are put into an unsafe situation after you've come out. Whether it's being like knowing of a shelter you can go to, talking to a teacher or a school counselor or just a friend's family, having a plan in place just in case something happens. Also know that there are lots of people out there that support you and love you, even if they don't know you. You know, we want you to be safe, we want you to be happy, all of those things. There are lots of support groups out there, even just on the internet. For Facebook, for example, I am in a Facebook group called Trans Men from All Over, which literally is just trans men from all over the world who are just in this Facebook group, and we can talk about things regarding our transition, we can ask for advice, you know, pretty much anything in our life is making us anxious or stressed out, we can talk about it, and it's from people who are going through similar situations, and so that's pretty helpful. But just know that there are people out there who feel exactly the same way you do and who just want you to be happy as long as you're being safe. So yeah, that concludes the Q&A of my life. But also not really. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask. I will try to address them eventually in later videos, whatever. So yeah, if you guys want to follow me more on like my healthy transition, I'm trying to eat right and work out more, go ahead and follow me on my Instagram at Emmett Alexander Dorsey. It's 2 M's and 2 T's. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.